99% of the news out there today is AI slop, distractionary nonsense, or worse, fear-mongering based outright manipulative deception and propaganda. With no desire to empower, the modern news cycle is designed to lead the hapless citizen serf along the train tracks of servitude, with only slight permissible digressions into controlled cul-de-sacs. What news show exists for the self-liberator who strives to keep up with news relevant to liberated lifestyles, second realm culture and music, and critical PAZNIA developments? What news show exists that will provide freedom pioneers with the knowledge, education, and networking connections necessary to liberate them, while also having fun? There is only one. Join host Shane, aka Rayo2, and Shadrach as they dive into the freeing and mysterious world of liberation here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas.
Music is fading out. The stream is still live. No interruptions today at all. It is great to see that. Shadrach, let's do a quick audio check.
Check, check. Can you hear me all right?
Sounds great. Let me go ahead and turn up Jitsi real quick. Actually, yeah, I do have to do that. Loud music. Jitsi auto updates or it auto adjusts the volume. So now we're good. We are finally set. Your audio is loud again. So yeah,
Awesome.
Let's go ahead and get to it. This is the Life Times of P.A.Z.NIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. I'm your host, Shane, Rayo2, joined alongside my co-host, Shadrach. This time I'm actually coming to you from Veritas. The first episode of the show did not, come from Veritas. But yeah, you'll see behind me, if you're watching the video on Rumble, Zap.stream, Odyssey, or, Fascist Tube, or whatever platform. You'll see the, what the console it used to be, where it used to stand, where it used to stand. And we've been broadcasting outdoors all day today at our nature sanctuary. It's our first official event of the year. Small attendance, but a good time nonetheless. If you happen to hear any side-by-sides or background noise, that is the reason why it's a dynamic environment at all. But yeah, if you're new here, and you probably are, we're new to this being the second show and all too. The goal of the Life and Times of P.A.Z.NIA is to bring you the best, most entertaining, and most valuable news show on self-liberation and existence. You might say, well, wow, Rayo2, that's a lofty goal. Well, like being the world's most foremost expert on Vonu, it doesn't take much, and there isn't a lot of competition. But anyway, we do this via 4 segments: self-liberation news, freedom pioneer focus / freedom music spotlight, wherein we highlight the art and culture of the second realm. We've got the Vonu Life digital message board, which could be a slew of who the hell knows what's going to show up there. And the last segment being the longest, our second realm strategy session. And our second realm strategy session topic today will kind of just be I actually don't have much planned in terms of it. I know Shadrach's been busy as hell. I don't think he's left where he's been since the last monthly news show.
Oh, no, I'm back.
You're back. Okay,
I escaped
you're back.
from Pirate Island. Yeah.
Okay, well, you I know there was at least one walk and talk interview with Dare Gigi, which I know that there's been a lot that you've been up to and a lot that we need to talk about. I know there's Archipelago, which again, this will be good for me because I don't know. I need to figure out more about what you're doing and what happened, as far at least as what you can talk about. We don't want to violate operational security, but yeah, obviously at the end of the day, the goal is some practical use and vision for building out this parallel network. Talking in theory is great, but it's time to start doing shit, and that's what they've been doing. So we're gonna find out, boots on the ground reports, all that good stuff. We might have some titillating messages from PAZNIA Simple X chats to attend to, and some Scardust and Bitcoin Bugle / Richard Dick Greaser to tune into for Freedom Music Spotlight. And we will have a special guest for Freedom Pioneer Focus to Bastard Chris will hop on for 15-20 minutes and talk about what he's learned over the past few years living in a polyethylene 8 cent like Rayo, and learning the intricacies of heating and cooling and electrical. It'll be again, I think this will be a highly autistic, as everything on the PAZNIA Radio Network is a highly autistic discussion. It'll be fun for all the autists involved. But anyway, obviously the wonderful mystery and spontaneity of a live show. I missed it. This is where I started back in February of 2015. It was doing live shows, and it's good to get back into it, and I guess refresh that skill. But we've got lots in store for you. Get involved. I'll be checking chats across YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, and Zap.stream. xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio. Again, xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio is where to go to leave a donation and a message if you like. And finally, PAZNIA.com/call2 if you'd like to call in. We'll start taking calls maybe, hour and a half, something like that through. We do have a lot to talk about. We want to make sure we get that in, but we do want to hear from you as well.
I love the call-ins, and listening to the show earlier, I was just like, oh, I wish I was a trucker listening to this driving down the road, and then like, hey, go, it's just it's such a great show. I love it.
Hey man, well, I certainly glad to hear that and appreciate that. I guess that is one of the one of the audience and also just the working class folks like me who, when they're 19 or 20, and we're trying to jerry rig playing podcasts on web browsers for 10 hours a day, or old Bill Cooper hour at the time. As the listeners to this, right before, if you've been here for the past hour or so, you heard Bill Cooper's one of his classic episodes on militias. But this is home for me, I guess you could say. And finally, before we really get to it, PAZNIA.com/fund is one of the most important links. If we're going to build out the SecRealm infrastructure, we need your help. As the great Thane Riddle says, go fund yourself. He also says, go fuck yourself, but that's not applicable or meant here. Anyway, head on over to PAZNIA.com/fund and go fund yourself. Leave a one-time fiat, XMR, or Bitcoin donation, or better yet, become a stakeholder. So, Shadrach, brother in Bitcoin arms, fellow freedom pioneer, Lutheran maniac, how's it going? You said you're back across the pond. How are things going? And kind of, let us know, what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I won't be back for a whole hell of a lot of time, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I noticed you're in shorts. It got really cold here, so I'm out in the garage so I can smoke. But yeah, it had a nice warm day, and then it got really cold, and it is what it is. But it's good to be back.
For sure. No, it was warm. I had the shirt off until a couple hours ago, and then an hour or so ago, once the sun went down. It's all for me. I always run hot, and not being able to have a fan on, because I don't want to make the listening experience bad for you. I will suffer in heat, generally speaking, but I don't have to tonight. Thankfully, nature is helping me out on that one. I'm wearing a sweatshirt and roll up the sleeves if I need to. But anyway, that's all nonsense. We should get into some good stuff here. So I guess the self-liberation news, which we do have, I guess we can go ahead and do this.
This is self-liberation news. No fluff, no bullshit, no propaganda. Keeping you apprised with developments regarding liberated lifestyles, PAZNIA, second realm gatherings in physical space and time, and more. And now your host, your humble radio deacon, programming coordinator Rayo.
All right. Is that done yet?
I think so.
All right, I'll have to just stop on it. But yeah, now we're banned in Russia for a second time. Anytime you play Lorna Shore, you're banned in Russia on YouTube. I don't know why that is, but we're secondly banned. Anyway, we're getting to news here. Get the proper tabs open. The first one, this is relevant to just Bitcoin. Just interesting kind of overlap between the what does Thane call it? The Gulf War, 27,000 or whatever it is now. So this is just interesting though. Obviously Iran is in a situation where they're trying not to, they can't use U.S. U.S. payment platforms. So they're transacting in different fiat, but they're also accepting Bitcoin for oil in the Strait of Hormuz. I'll just read a little bit here. It's interesting, and this is just if you want to know the utility of Monero or privacy, security tools and tactics, you look at the people whose lives are dependent upon it. for a lot of this times, like, like deep web, Monero marketplaces. But in this case, like international sanctions, financial sanctions, like how do you get around that? That's a big problem. Thankfully, as individuals, we don't have to deal with nation state problems that much. If we do, we're pretty much fucked. But Iran is another nation state, so they've got some other tools up their sleeve. So this article is from anyway, it doesn't matter. Wazir, Wazirx. But the long-held belief that Bitcoin is the ultimate neutral settlement was tested on April 8, 2026, when Iran announced it would accept Bitcoin for oil tanker passage through the Strait of Hormuz. The system, confirmed by Iran's Oil, Gas, and Petrochemical Products Explorers Union, requires tankers to email cargo details, receive a $1 per barrel toll calculation, and pay the digital asset promptly. For a fully loaded, very large crude carrier carrying 2 million barrels of oil, that is a toll bill approaching $2 million paid in Bitcoin. Now you might ask, and for anyone listening to this podcast, it's an easy answer, but this is, like when it comes to digital currencies, the main push is towards like USDT and shit like that. Well, why wouldn't Iran, work in stable coins? Well, it's very, very simple. The choice of Bitcoin over dollar peg stable coins is not incidental. Is a deliberate technical and political decision. It tells you a lot about how crypto infrastructure actually works under geopolitical pressure. Tether's USDT and Circle's USDC, the two dominant stablecoins, both include a built-in freeze mechanism. Both issuers can blacklist wallet addresses and block transactions on demand, typically in response to requests from U.S. law enforcement or OFAC. End quote. And we'll just stop there. That's the long and short of it. Is that Iran is accepting Bitcoin, and it seems like I don't know, like my naive, I guess not naive, but I guess my whimsical, vision, or a whimsical vision is like some I don't know, some self-liberator sea nomad, riding into the Strait of Hormuz and buying a barrel or two of oil with Bitcoin. It's a cool thought. Obviously they KYC and all that, but this is just under like geopolitical pressures are kind of the biggest ones that exist, especially when it comes from somewhere like the U.S. And they choose Bitcoin and for very fundamental reasons. Not saying Bitcoin's the best, but that is as far as maybe in terms of like privacy, it's not the best for privacy, but in terms of, again, censorship resistance, this is another demonstration of that, regardless of the privacy concerns.
Yeah. Well, there were a few other things that happened alongside that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Tether seized something 370 million linked to Iran. So somebody did pay in Tether and got it seized.
Okay.
And then one of the generals was talking in front of Congress or something about Bitcoin basically being unstoppable. There was a speech that kind of went around the internet the last couple of days of him talking about kind of possibly the soft war thesis of like Bitcoin being a power projection. But very clearly he said that the US is running a Bitcoin node and that, nobody can stop a transaction. So sure, Iran could, there's no privacy in it, but like they can also, flex their muscles and say, look at all this Bitcoin we're getting and you can't do anything about it. So.
Yeah. No. And I guess just in terms of, obviously if you consider, I guess the fractional reserve banking that's already happening within Bitcoin. Again, not on chain, but through like Cash App and PayPal and outlets like that. The price is, especially in times like this, the price is certainly artificially low. And even if you just consider, again, not number go up is whatever, but this provides, consider how many, like if countries or businesses decide to pay in Bitcoin, that's a lot of it's a lot of demand. If a tanker decides to pay in Bitcoin, so it's just another interesting kind of geopolitical thing. Well, it's a demonstration of the use case even without the privacy concerns. And we'll bring up Samurai and Keone and Bill again. They're probably not going to get. I'm far less hopeful for pardons for them now than. And I had a very, I was very not hopeful before, but Mr. I don't know, Mr. Dementia and whatever, Mr. Blackmailed or whatever the hell it is. It's not going to happen now. There's too much. There's too much going on.
Donations are really low for them right now.
Are they?
I felt like that. Yeah, I think I'm feeling some starving in the freedom tech space. I think that might be another kind of attack vector that we didn't really consider, is that a lot of the grants and the flow towards freedom tech projects have seemed to have slowed down. So
Yeah, I mean, the uncertainty will cause that, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, it's and we don't have to get into this, but like I think we're gonna see, um, yeah, for these decentralized projects to exist, there's gonna be new business models. I think kind of like the value for value, kind of that Bitcoin ecosystem sort of thing is gonna be, that, like I guess, that Lightning, whatever you want to call it, that value for value ecosystem is probably where it's gonna have to be. Yeah, where it's gonna have to go.
yeah.
But yeah, there'll be plenty more opportunities to talk about that. I guess let's get into a couple other news items, and then we can get more into the tech. This is just a fun one that I found. That it's kind of an homage to Jim Stum and Rayo. But a college instructor turns to typewriters to curb AI written work and teach life lessons. So again, this seems so silly. Like, why the fuck is he bringing this up? But anyway, I don't have to even read the article. Like, he's trying to show like know the shit you're talking about. You can't just run things through AI, and write your articles. But I just have to bring it up as an homage. The behind me, I might even have that up on screen right now. I do. Yeah. So behind me, you see where the old console used to be, and those all those old physical archives are burnt up and smithereens back there. Well, Jim Stum, when I corresponded with him a few years ago, he was writing on that same typewriter from like 1970. And obviously Rayo, they're they are like they're Bitcoin maximalists, they're typewriter maximalists. So I just had to bring this up as a little bit of an homage. Shout out to that professor. He's probably a communist and probably doesn't want to do anything else. But God bless him for this. This is a good lesson for those children that they'll take forward. And a lot more useful than the bullshit about like, oh well, you can't use a calculator on a test because I mean it's you got to know the math. No, like actually that's not. Yeah, this is more relevant. So, anyway, let's see what's next on the news here. Okay, so yeah, these next few are actually ones that you sent over, Shadrach. So there's it's called Nowhere, and I'll bring it up on screen. And this is one of those that I will have to turn it over to you for the most part. But this was a link, and I'll read just a sentence here to give people an idea, and you can kind of take it from there. Nowhere encodes an entire website into a URL fragment. The site lives in the link itself and is never stored on a server. 8 tools: event, fundraiser, store, petition, message, drop, art, forum, publish without accounts or platform permission. Orders and messages route through, it's Nostr. Okay, route through Nostr relays using ephemeral keys. So, might have stole your thunder a little bit, but yeah, tell us more about Nowhere. I'm not familiar with it, but it seems like another cool piece of Nostr tech.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed it was interesting. It was hitting kind of the mainstream a bit today, and I went through the GitHub just to make sure it was in fact Nostr. But yeah, it's I don't know much about it. But what's really interesting is a way that Nostr uses Blossom servers and Hashtree. So there was like a Spotify clone that's all done on Hashtree and Blossom servers. So all the songs exist like in distributed relays. It uses chunking and encryption. So there's some really, really neat use cases for this new technology. And I think it's going to be really powerful for the things we want to build out.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, no, I appreciate that. And Nostr seems to be yeah, I don't know. There, obviously any ecosystem there's good and there's there's worthwhile projects and there's not. But I'm always like Nostr is one of those ones where there's a lot of this organic generative creation energy going towards, and not for just because someone wants something they want a tool themselves and they build it, and that's kind of the that's great motivation. This next one, and I searched for it, but I mean this is kind of a generic search term. So I'll just turn it over to you. You just said new framework laptops. So tell us about these framework laptops.
Oh yeah, they just had a cool announcement just in tech news. They've got the Framework 13 Pro now, which that was the one I was most interested in because I like the small form factor laptops. But yeah, they have a super bright, like 700 nit backlight, really good matte screen, so it's not reflective. And they pretty much doubled the battery life, which was another big complaint about the framework. I'm a big old school ThinkPad guy myself, but
Okay, so
I mean, I
that
think
was
for
that was gonna be my question. So is this kind of like there's a new ThinkPad implementation kind of thing? Is
no,
that
no. So Framework, it's actually a pretty cool company. They you can build your own laptop with parts from Framework. I think. Oh, I talked to Thane about him a little bit, but yeah, I don't think it's super open as far as like the firmware and stuff like that. But like as companies go, they work closely with their users, and things like you can upgrade the motherboard in your laptop super easy. Um,
okay? So
but yeah,
it's more of a it's not necessarily a ghost pad solution where it's you're kind of fully on your own. It's kind of an intermediate, a reputable company that delivers good
yeah.
products, good service. Okay, fair enough, fair
But
enough.
where they can, they have all their firmwares are on GitHub and stuff, so
Okay, okay, so there's
they're pretty
an
cool.
open component too. Okay, right on,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on.
There's it's as open as it gets at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Right on. Right on. Yeah. And I got to ask us a clarifying question. Yeah. Yeah. You never
yeah, and
know.
it's frame.work is the website. So
Frame.work. Okay. Yeah. We'll have to look at. Yeah. I'll drop that in the show notes if I remember when I post this. But anyway, yeah, folks, you're hearing it. You can find it yourself. Um. So this next one, I did find an article. For this one. Gotta find the right tab here. Always fun. There it is. So you said that. So I guess the short four words: UK raids P2P exchanges.
oh yeah,
And
did you find it?
I found a CoinDesk article. London P2P sweep. UK FCA raids 8 illegal peer-to-peer trading hubs. That would be what you're referring to from a few days ago, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll read. Yeah, I'll read a little bit from this. But so the sites were targeted for facilitating P2P trading without required registration or AML. Yeah, the same fucking story. So I don't have to read much of this. We'll see if we can get any nuggets out of here. Um, the UK's Financial Conduct Authority has carried out its first coordinated crackdown on illegal peer-to-peer crypto trading, targeting 8 locations across London in a joint operation. They issued cease and desist notices at each site and gathered evidence that is now feeding into criminal investigations. Suspected of facilitating P2P crypto trading, where individuals buy and sell crypto directly with one another without the required registration or AML, yada yada yada. Yeah, they're going to tell about their fear mongering about how it's funding terrorism, even though especially the UK government has no goddamn business talking about funding terrorists. Um, We'll see if there's anything. Yeah, it's same. Yeah, I guess it seems like it's. I don't know if there's anything special. Just it's worth noting that I guess the UK is going after. Were these like I guess well, I don't know if they're peer-to-peer exchanges. They go after the developers. Is this another one of those cases?
These are so I've been in London a lot, and I get really strong, you know, criminal underground vibes there. Basically, they're starving the population, and people are turning to crime more and more. So I think this is more like, you know, a little office that's got some people in it, and you come in and you can buy and sell crypto. I think it's funny that they call it peer to peer when it's like if it's an office with people in it, like
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Okay.
not really peer to peer. So
Okay. So
um,
this wasn't like a decentralized digital peer-to-peer exchange. This was like a ground level operation. Okay, that makes more sense. And how
exactly,
they were able, yeah, that
exactly.
makes more sense. Yeah.
But it does, it's a warning shot. I mean, like we had the guy that got arrested in New York a while back for operating a peer-to-peer exchange, and I mean I think he's still serving time. So like publishing stuff like this in the paper and like kind of going after it, and also the
Yeah.
wording that they use, they're basically saying peer-to-peer is not legal.
Yeah. 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 No, it's one of those chilling dissent things where I mean, yeah, they can't get everybody, but they can make a spectacle out of this and try to scare people away from privacy solutions.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, no, that's always good to bring up. Kyle brought that the very first time I interviewed Kyle Reardon, it was on Dragnet wiretapping, and that was one of the things we talked about was the chilling descent. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Pete, you're being spied on, therefore don't say anything ever that could be controversial.
Yep.
Was kind of the long and short of it. So there was right before we went live, there were a few other items that you popped in here. Um, there was one that was on there, and I was going to work that in at some point somehow. But I want to talk about this one first off because Thane brought up something. Thane brought up one earlier, and I'd actually been going down a rabbit hole because there's a PAZNIA connection. But you've dropped Ancient Aliens David Wilcock, and David Wilcock. I guess so. For some context here, David Wilcock was he was the Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. He was that guy, and he apparently committed suicide a couple days ago. Um, and I've seen from different UFO that I guess from different folks in this community that he's kind of been going downhill for a number of years, and people didn't reach out, like, and it's kind of been like on visible. And then there are the folks that when it comes to any of these instances, that like he posted that if he would never commit suicide or something along those lines.
Right.
So again, like with all of these things, and this is where a lot of this, and it's a lot of it's speculation, and unless you are involved in it personally, and then I guess the things kind of can go different directions from there. But I guess what was your purpose for bringing this up? I love it. It's very on theme with today. But yeah, I guess give us your thoughts. Or
Well, a couple weeks ago, I heard that Nick Pope had also died, and he was on there all the time. He was a member of Parliament in the UK, and that I don't know, it kind of freaked me out more than I expected it to. It was quite upsetting. And then when I heard about David Wilcock, and then I was looking at some other stuff, he's apparently the third person off Ancient Aliens to have died recently. And then there's all the 11 nuclear scientists and all that stuff. So I think why I wanted to talk. I mean, this is our, these are our people we're talking to, hopefully here. I think it's really important to stay in touch, to have things like a buddy system. If people are going downhill, I mean, we don't know what kind of external factors. I mean, Nick Pope got turbo cancer, like and then I don't know, with David Wilcock, there might have been financial things, but I think it's really important that we watch our backs and watch each other's backs, and then really check in with each other on a regular basis. And there was another, I should have written it down. I've been talking with, there's an app for, you hit a button on your phone and it notifies like your circle of friends. That's an open source project. I think it's GART or something. I'll look it up in a second. But I think having these practices in place early, because we don't know if are they sonic weapons? Are they like, how are they affecting people in this kind of almost MK Ultra way? And then then you're pointing a gun at your face. I mean, that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought this up too, and it gives me and so I randomly I've been going on a different path for my research, and I won't go into that here, but I got kind of dragged back into, and there's a reason for it. Maybe it was a reminder, but along with these these dozen scientists that were involved in strange research over the past few years that have gone missing, some very high notable names in the recent ones, like you talked about. I got kind of put on this. What's her name? Amy Eskridge. And this was from she died. I guess it would have been 3 or 4 years ago now. But for some context here, I started kind of getting in contact with Bernie the Crypto Alchemist, and he was doing streams with Falcon Space Labs and even John and Nancy Hutchison, the infamous Hutchison effect. They were doing streams, and they were going to release the crystal battery, crystal power cell sort of solution. Long story short, the Falcon Space Lab, folks, is the reason I mentioned this. But there was this a drop. It just kind of fell upon me on Twitter. Um, from one of these comments in the accounts, and it was a 3-hour conversation where she was getting near, she was trying to find a way to disclose this information, and she'd already gone through some weird shit. She'd taken videos of what she perceived to be clear direct energy weapon attacks on her, and this was a private 3-hour conversation. It was kind of a vetting thing. It was with Jeremy Reese, alien scientist. He's been on this shit for a long time, and I can't remember his name. He's kind of the main Falcon Space Labs guy, but they did this. He was in her house when they did this, private conversation, or whatever, that was released publicly after she was dead. And the part that kind of just gets under, I guess there are two parts, and one part was that she kind of her dad was like big in NASA too, and anti-gravity technology. Like, again, like, she's huge, like, she's notable family, like, she's marked, so she's not just some random person. But yeah, she was on the verge of disclosing this, and within like the first 5 or 10 minutes of this conversation, Sky Huddleston was brought up in terms of like an alternative way to try to get some of this stuff out there, and it's like, oh, fuck me. Like, God, I wear for Sky. But no, she's yeah, I guess she's another one of those that, yeah, she killed herself, and before she died, she was under some very, very weird, so there was I guess I mentioned the DEW kind of attacks, but there were also physical, there was also other harassment too, that transpired. I'm not going to try to speak to
I did think of your house fire and the magic box and everything too.
Yeah, I mean, the wishing machine potential. It's, well, I don't know. No, there's forces that we cannot comprehend, that we don't know about at this point. And then there are ones that we do, the ones that, and I'm not sure if I finish this line of thought, but one of the things she mentioned in this conversation was that, like, if she's under direct surveillance, then pretty much 6 people, there's like 6 layers, they're gonna monitor everyone within like 6 layers of her connections.
Yep.
So, like, we talk a lot about like AI, like this data and shit, like, harnessing this data and trying to sort through it. Like, there are folks that are that important, and I think Sky's one of them. And I don't I shouldn't talk about it, but he's one of one, and not always in a good way. But he's like, I think I mentioned to somebody, like, I think he might be like one of those critical components of like the future of humanity. And
I think we should talk about it, and I think this is where things like Noster come into play. I mean, we can create and sign messages that nobody can delete. I think this is we should be talking about this, and we should be protecting these people.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's kind of the double, like, you got to talk about it to get people to care about it, but then, like, you don't want to draw attention to it. I was quoted in an FBI investigatory document a decade ago, which is burned up now. I'm not sure if I have that file anymore, but I've got the quotes that I have on the website when I was too scared to post actually post the document, because it was dissemination limited by court order, and one of my old colleagues, Gary Hunt, got put in prison for jail for a month, for releasing that. And God bless him for sharing that with me.
Wow.
But I don't know where he is. I tried, like, we kind of went on. He got kind of drawn up in the Patriot, or I guess the Trump, the Patriots that got drawn up in the Trump bullshit, where they went from like armed standoffs against the federal government to Trump, and I mean, God bless it. yeah, anyway, we can get back to the news. Well, we're talking about ancient aliens. David Wilcock. I guess we're still on. We're still on the same thing.
Yeah.
Plenty of imprisoned. I mean the political prisoners archive. There's plenty of dead patriots that died in prison. All that. It's not good. Yeah, I guess I don't know where to go from there. It's important to know. It's important to pay homage and just be aware that like we can, I'm 100% in favor. Obviously, like we sell all the products the best that we possibly can provide. But I think at the end of the day, we've just got to do what's right and what we need to do, um, and whatever happens, happens. I guess.
Yeah.
End of the day.
I mean, like with the Bill Cooper thing, I mean, we need to take this stuff in and live like it. And I think this is the time. This is, as Greaser puts it, we're pioneers of the first turning. So this is the rebuild.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, so we could sit here and talk about that for an hour and a half. I would love to. We should at some point, but we've got a new show to get to. So I guess there are a couple other things which maybe we'll choose one, and maybe we'll push one back. So there were two other points: thoughts on praxeology of privacy and Thane's manifesto, and I'd almost rather prioritize that one. If you've got thoughts on Thane's manifesto, which he's been desperately seeking, and I think this overlaps with Max Hilbrand's book on privacy. So yeah, I'll kind of open up the floor to you. I guess. Yeah, what do you got on that one?
Yeah, I like the overlap. I haven't read Max's book, but I mean, I think I read the chapter subjects and stuff like that, and I think it goes really well with Thane stuff. I think, and again, about having Noster and being able to create systems of verifiability. We can create web of trusts now. So that kind of ties into the insurance and escrow markets that Thane talks about. I think we're there with the tools. I think at this point, and that's possibly another segue, but I think we have the tools now to start putting a lot of these things in place, and that's something that I think we're going to hit pretty hard in Madeira, which is where I was. There's a lot of really good people there, and I think that basically the solutions that Thane proposes are similar to what Max is working on, and these are the kind of the primitives that will enable us to operate with chosen levels of privacy at every level.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, we're and what I guess we set this out from the very start that like I kind of had a rigid like 30 minutes hour, but we're gonna nix all that bullshit. We're just gonna do it. And our special on I guess our in-person guest, thankfully, yeah, he's more than happy to deal with to handle the dynamic situation. So we'll do that. The Freedom Pioneer focus will be later and all that. But we'll get to the work first. Kind of the stuff that's most important. Which maybe we should do that anyway. Maybe this is kind of maybe we should get to the work first and do the fun stuff after. Maybe that should just be the way to do it. But at least for this one, we'll do it this way. But so you've been in Spain for I think Madeira for some time. Since you got back at some point, but you were there for quite some time. You were on the ground with a dear Gigi, building shit.
Yeah.
Trying to fix the internet. So yeah, give us all that she can tell us. It doesn't violate operational security.
No, yeah. So I did the show last month. Was my first couple days there. I hadn't started the actual sovereign engineering, which is, I mean, that's public. It's an amazing initiative that they're doing there, which is just build and present in 1 week, like talk, build, present. And but as much as I love that, what I really loved was meeting, not really loved, but was very impactful, was meeting the people on the island who are living as Bitcoiners, as like privacy freedom people. And I think a lot of the things that I talked about with different ways of doing markets, being able to do ride sharing, house rentals, all with a new level of privacy rather than using these trusted third parties. I think this is a place where there's enough people and enough interest to really push this forward and to show what we can do.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a similar impression too that I get from Prague is that they've been living under totalitarianism and kind of a dystopian, dystopian state for longer. So they're far past the theory stage. I mean, second round book on strategy came out in 2011, and #Over came out that year or the year before. They're past the theory part, and it's by necessity. So I guess that might be the most valuable part of your visit is experiencing those things.
And they,
Yeah.
I think that they are to an extent, but I really think, like, I mean, and that's why I brought up Thane's manifesto and stuff. I think that it's we need to make it smoother and I can't think of the word, but like it's having small groups of people that are able to meet and interact is good. I think we've done good with different markets in smaller areas, but I think being able to use the tools that we have now to really create the coordination layer, create the trust layer, create, I mean, instant escrow. I mean, these are things we couldn't do really 2 years ago in a very efficient way. And so that, I think that's the exciting part, is like we can actually have a viable replacement for Uber, for example. I don't think we could have done that 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I guess let's get into some of these. Are there any specifics that you want to talk about? Excuse me, from that from that conference, anything that was like top of the list? I know there's Archipelago, which is a project you're working on,
Mhm.
but I kind of want to get into building practical tool sets for folks using Noster and using these things, because even for me, Noster is becoming more useful now thanks to Zap.stream, like more practically useful for me. Um, but it goes far beyond that. I know that Noster, there's Noster VPNs now. There's Noster ride, as you said, Noster ride shares. Um, so yeah, I guess yeah, multiple questions there, but yeah, first and foremost, what can you tell us about that conference that really, I guess, lit a fire under your ass? Was there anything like that?
Yeah, I think nothing specific on the technology side. I mean, you mentioned some of the cool projects, and I think it's more the people and the drive to to create this world that we want to live in. And so like there's Noster, like the Twitter clone and stuff like that, but it's the and other stuff that is the really powerful stuff. So I think the idea that we can own our own identity, we can sign our own messages, we can create contracts, we can create encrypted smart contracts that are able to live on public relays, but nobody can interact on them except the people who sign them. It's in a way, it is kind of the alternate internet that we were looking for. I mean, the transportation protocol of the packets is one thing, but what now we kind of we know what the formation of the data sets are going to look like and how they are able to interact. So, like, you can back up your phone by encrypting it and chunking it onto Blossom servers. These are just things that people have tried to do with different blockchains, IPFS and stuff, but Nostr has kind of created the ecosystem for being able to communicate in this way and coordinate.
Yeah. So what comes to mind for me is, and this was a hard part for me before using Lightning and some of these things is, um, so like you're talking about like using, I mean, yeah, it's going beyond again like just these first layer, I guess these surface layer digital components, and utilizing the encryption, signing, the public and private keys, and
Right.
all of those things to basically so yeah, like are you using Bitcoin or are you using like Cashew or something like that, like um and
Well, you
I'm
don't.
not.
I mean, not there. Nostr makes Lightning kind of easy, but that's more your Nostr client that's got a built-in wallet. It's not tied to Bitcoin. It's an open communications protocol.
Right, yeah.
So like we could use anything we wanted on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. I guess what I'm saying is like Nostr is more useful than just like this digital alternative to Twitter. Like
yes,
you can use
yes,
the principles, the network, all of that for things far beyond, and digital, for coordinating digital space and time.
yeah.
I know. I guess, and I guess there are a million different directions we can go, but I want to make sure we get to Archipelago. Um, which you sent me a screenshot of it, and I don't know much beyond that, but it seems like kind of a Start OS, like kind of a re-envisioned Start OS, but focused on very specific things. So yeah, you want to, I guess, fill us in on Archipelago?
Yeah, it's I think that I love Start OS. I think Umbrel's great. What we were really looking for is a few things. I think having a user interface that is beautiful and intuitive is really important. And as well, like I ran my first Lightning node because I thought I could earn money routing traffic. And I think now there's not really a financial incentive to run a node. And I think this is the one piece that can kind of push us over the edge is when you're able to, like I said, if you have Nostr, you're running a Blossom server and you're able to get paid for the data that you're storing on your hard drive in a really easy way, then you open up your node, you look at your wallet, and it's like, oh, I've got money flowing in. You could run your own escrow market. So you install a couple apps, and then you are able to earn money by just having some uh, Bitcoin sitting in collateral. And then ultimately you can use it for internet traffic. So you're able to bounce a packet off of your neighbor's Meshtastic or Reticulum or something like that, and then you're able to get fees for creating the new internet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I guess one other, just to hone in on this specifically, because it's something that I see a lot of potential in, for marketing and just as, a demonstration that this can work. But
Mhm.
like so like I guess the Nostr rideshare could be reappropriated to this, but there are a couple open source apps I found now for like decentralized open source delivery, fulfillment coordination services, etc.
Yeah.
Um, and there's so many people that are looking for alternative income now, and I mean, just to offer something like to offer like a white market layer where yeah, you're just delivering like a pallet of paper, like fucking thing of tomatoes or something like that. It doesn't matter who's delivering it as long as they're doing it and they're building a reputation and all of that. But I don't know. I really think like just in terms of like what we can do to try to help people. Like I think people need financial options at this point. And you know, a great way. You've got different. You've got your white market layer for travel. Once people build a reputation, and they have a few, you know, signed PGP and Oster keys or something like that from people in person, then they can move up to the gray layer where maybe they'll be delivering insulin or something like pharmaceuticals or something. And then you've
Yeah.
got the next reputational layer, which I don't know what the stipulation for that would be. Um, you know, to get them to that point. It'd be like the first layer circle of trust. People that would come here that would deliver the stuff that
Yeah.
you would trust them to deliver. So
Yeah.
I guess with whether it's Nostr or something else, like, is there something that we could like we got Matthew Raymer, for example. If there's something that can be built, that can be, you know, usable, do you have any like or I guess altered code wise or something? Do you got any solutions in that vein per se?
I think everything's been written. I think what we need is to create the actual network. So the problem with creating an alternative to Uber is you need drivers and riders at the same time.
True. Yeah.
So it's really like we need to figure out the strategy of how do we build this out? How do we grow it? So that was kind of the idea with Madeira. Is I think there's enough passion there to where that can be done. I mean, it's an island, you know. But then where do we move next? I mean, do we do like Chicago or Austin? And then when you're talking about transportation like that, you're talking multi-cities. So do we need like to say, here are the 8 hubs we're going to start with. We're going to have people there who are encouraging, you know, handing out a card to their Uber driver, and then encouraging the people there to start using the services.
Yeah.
And then once we've got a bit of that set up, then, you know, one of those Uber drivers were like, hey, if you drive an hour to the west, you can drop off this package for this much money.
Yeah.
But and I think it's really important what you said. People really do want to earn money. And that was the other thing I kind of got from Thane's manifesto is like, really, we need to be just doing stuff that people want for money. And how can we make that as efficient as possible and also not be buying bombs to drop on children at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. And you bring up a good point there. I guess yeah, I guess I don't. I'm thinking more in terms of like the overall PAZNIA network, and that might be how it could be more. I guess utilizing a network of nomads already.
Hmm.
Um, kind of, I guess, I think a nationwide network is easier than setting up something like in Chicago or something. Austin, maybe not. Austin would probably be a right place for something like this, but um, I don't know. Like there's so much we could theorize all day. I guess I'm just I it's with all these things like I wanted to be done like 5 years ago, but
Oh yeah.
reality sets in, and you know it is what it is.
Yeah, and yeah, people who are interested in these things need to speak up. I mean, I've talked to a few people. I do like the Bitcoin, you know, human network as well. So that's kind of been my go-to. But what I've loved about meeting you guys and going to Midfest is just like everyone wants the same thing, and how we get there. I think we have all the tools to get there now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would agree. No, I would agree. And I was just telling, I was just talking to somebody today about meeting you the first time at Midfest, and how you and your tech crew showed up with the, you know, your off-grid Starlink and meshified the entire place. And
Yeah.
it was perfect. Amazing, yeah, amazing meeting. But I guess we might actually be on time. I told our in-person guests it might be 8:15.
Perfect.
But I guess let me just check. We've still got you know, we aren't short on time. Let me make sure we didn't brush over anything that I wanted to get to. I don't think I did. There was the Tim Booma's post on everything collapses to 32 bits, but it might be too late for that one right now.
I mean, it's kind of what we talked about.
Is it?
It's more of the philosophy behind it, but like, yeah, everything objects they all have a SHA-256 code, and they're either the same object, they're the same person, they're the same event, or they're not. And now we can tell.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's a proof of what we kind of talked about then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll put that in the show notes, and maybe
Cool.
and maybe we'll talk about it in the future. But no, I started reading through that, and I was like, man, this might be too autistic for me right now. Yeah, we'll push that on for a later time. As for right now, we're coming up to our only break for the evening. Actually, on time when there is no on time. But yeah, we'll go to break, and we'll come back with Freedom Pioneer Focus, and I guess, or take off the headphones. These headphones are retarded. Yeah, Freedom Pioneer Focus, or we'll go to Freedom Music Spotlight. Either way, we're going to some culture. So stay tuned.
Let's fucking go.
Now, when it comes to weird alternative health shit, you may have heard of Brown's gas, boss, aka molecular hydrogen. Technically, actually, molecular hydrogen is just one part of what Brown's gas is, but whatever. It's a kind of wellness treatment used by health professionals and weirdos all over the world, both mainstream and otherwise. They got gas bars in Japan and shit. Big body of research showing that this therapy likely helps with pretty much everything: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, pretty much every organ system in the body. Over 1,500 papers, therapeutic potential for 170 diseases. In broad strokes, it works by fucking electrolyzing water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then you breathe that shit and you drink the water that it's bubbled through. And these gases are, negatively charged and shit, and they get into every cell of your body. It's probably how magical healing springs work, at least partially. The water is hydrogen enriched. Now, the PAZNIA Department of Health and Wellness has run R&D on these machines for about 4 years, and the top machine being recommended right now is the Lord's Hydrofix by Holy Hydrogen. And can you believe it? We have a coupon code for a product that isn't on our own fucking store. There's a first time for everything, so save a fat chunk of change on the Department of Health and Wellness's top recommended machine, and support Cloak and Dagger at the same time by heading on over to holyhydrogen.com and inputting coupon code VONU100 to get $100 off your Lord's Hydrofix. You're going to want to do your own research on this. The Molecular Hydrogen Institute website can help you with that. There's you can use whatever resources you want. There's a huge body of research on this. You know as well as I do, hopefully, that there are a lot of bullshit health tonics and gimmicks being hawked out there. The Brown's gas is one of the truest, most powerful tonic treatments out there in the world by far. When you learn for yourself how much of a health and wellness bombshell molecular hydrogen truly is, you're going to see why having your own machine is truly worth the investment. These machines are a bit costly, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, but they last for ages, and they may help you save on health costs in the long run. Nothing's a bigger deal than your health, so pony the fuck up. Go to holyhydrogen.com, use coupon code VONU100, Victor Oscar November Uniform 100. Get $100 off.
Hey guys, Scott here for Liberty Under Attack Publications. Looking for a Liberty-focused publisher? Liberty Under Attack publishes books and strategy guides for individuals looking to increase their personal freedom. They assist authors through the entire publishing process: proofreading, editing, cover designs, paperback and Kindle formatting, and full audiobook narration and post-production. Tell them Scott sent you and get 20% off a full service deal. To get some one-of-a-kind books or for more information, visit libertyunderattack.com.
Liberty Under Attack Publications is your source for all things self-liberation. Featuring high-quality agorist and anarchist fiction, Paul Rosenberg's A Lodging of Wayfaring Men and his The Breaking Dawn are two great starts. The Brushfire series by Matthew Wojtecki is stellar, #Agora, and more. Save Bitcoin or fiat by buying a bundle, such as the Strategy Sample Pack, wherein you can explore a few different strategies to the problem of freedom, at Current, Vonu, Ben Stone's Vision, and Second Realm book on strategy. And once you're inspired to take action in your own life, head on over to the Ghost Pads and Privacy Tools tab to get yourself a Ghost Phone and Ghost Pad, and secure your communications from both the public and private spies. Stock up your home apothecary with items from Aura's Apothecary, Black Drawing Salve, Comfrey Salve, Natural Insect Repellent, and much more. And finally, the newest addition, PAZNIA Farms canned goods, cowboy candy, pickles, salsa, etc. Of course, all of the canned goods and the apothecary items are made with the highest quality ingredients, some grown here at the homestead. Head on over to libertyunderattack.com, again libertyunderattack.com, to check out our full catalog or to place your order today. Bitcoin accepted and preferred. Email if you'd like to pay with XMR, shane@libertyunderattack.com, or if you'd like to place an international order. Again, libertyunderattack.com. Liberty Under Attack Publications. Share your story, find your freedom.
Rayo, Shadrach, hide the guns and the drugs. We about to finna be back on the air.
This is the Life and Times of P.A.Z.NIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. Now, your humble hosts, Rayo2 and Shadrach.
Welcome back. Welcome back. No, no, no. Good old Eastern time zone. Which one? Which one are you playing?
Getting pushed to the edge, I know you feel despair. But if you want to change the world, you'll have to choose to dare. Go to places that aren't safe and face the darkness that's within. Learn what it means to become comfortable in your skin. Everything may be falling apart, but for you this is a fresh start. Pick up the pieces to build something new. Learn what you have the capacity to do. I know times are tough, but don't give in. It's not over until you win. It's your time, so fight like hell. Keep moving forward, give them a story to
Why does
tell.
Kaylee have to call me every time she gets in trouble?
Your body needs to move, so dance. Your body needs to feel, so dance. Your heart needs to open, so dance. Move your body. When you were young, you had dreams. Let your heart remember what they mean. A longing to do something brave, to be someone more than a slave. Now you're standing at the edge, wanting to leap off the ledge, doubting there will be better days, asking if God hears you when you pray. Some days it just feels so cold. Everything is so out of control, but you don't know what lies ahead. Cling to hope instead of dread. I know times are tough, but don't give in. It's not over until you win. It's your time, so fight like hell. Keep moving forward, give them a story to tell. Your body needs to move, so dance. Your body needs to feel, so dance. Your heart needs to open, so dance. Move your body. I know times are tough, but don't give in. It's not over until you win. It's your time, so fight like hell. Keep moving forward, give them a story to tell. I know times are tough, but don't give in. It's not over until you win. It's your time, so fight like hell. Keep moving forward, give them a story to tell.
We will not let them get away with this. We will teach the galaxy that compliance is defiance.
I was looking at the stream, and there was me drinking my Red Bull in the middle of the video somehow. OBS is fun. No way. Yep. Oh no, it's Belgrade. Yeah, that's in June. Yeah. Yeah. And on that, so yeah, Stardust is in Vegas right now. Some of them. So uh all right. Cool, cool. Yep. R.I.P. Stardust.
Holding on to hopes and dreams will be our demise. Realize eventually our future dies. Forsake me, break me, just let me drown. Emerge from the sorrow to claim your life back. Stripping down the armor to reveal realize inevitably our future dies. Forsake me, break me, just let me drown. Emerge from the sorrow to claim your life back. Our future shall see, let it rest in peace, put it to sleep, bury deep all that you crave, down in the grave. After the sorrow tomorrow, you'll be left with everything. So a new path to pave. So forsake me and break me, just let me drown and crack. Emerge from the sorrow to claim your life back. Forsake me and break me, just let me drown. Emerge from the sorrow to claim your life back. To claim your life back. To claim your life back. To claim your life.
Well, don't close that out. I almost closed you out, Shadrach. That wouldn't have been good. But okay, all the clicks are in order. No, I guess I forgot. I like that. That's very that kind of symphonic metal. It reminds me of two bands. One's called Shoot the Girl First, and she's the girl pianist who does some clean vocals. And there's Betraying the Martyrs too, which I don't think there's a chick in it, but it's still the symphonic sort of symphonic metal. That's I don't know how I didn't remember that. That's a damn good song, damn good tune.
There's some good black metal with girl singers too.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta turn your audio up again, Jitsi. Damn it. No, you get quiet in my ears. If anything's quiet in these headphones, there's a problem. But anyway, we just did our freedom music spotlight, and now we're going to this is the first PAZNIA event of the year, and we've got an in person guest here, Bastard Chris. He is he's here for the event. He has some knowledge on Vonu. He's lived in polyethylene A-tents, which was Rayo's forte. He's handled some electrical issues, in the modern day. I had to deal with that, and I'm sure a lot more. But I'm just gonna kind of open the floor to Bastard Chris here. Much appreciate you being here, and much appreciate you for coming on and spending a little time and talking a little bit about what you know and what you do. But yeah, I guess I'll open the floor up to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rayo. Hope you all can hear me well. I guess I appreciate being here. I appreciate the spring event and the welcome out here after becoming vetted. Ooh, I hit a button. But I guess I'd kind of like to open up and kind of share how I got here just a little bit, just in some abstract detail that, perhaps is common for a lot of us out there. It was years ago, not so many years ago, where I came across the Vonu podcast and Rayo's book that you got republished. And, that was at a time when I'd kind of, been going through the gauntlet that is known as the rabbit hole. And it just so happened, Vonu was saying something new. It was consistent with, voluntarism. And it also, had the essence of freedom, in that, those pursuing Vonu are also tasked with taking responsibility for their own lives. Coming across Vonu, it's been life changing for me. It kind of gave me a new way to think about things and a new approach to, I guess call it the newfound unknowns, right? I really don't know a lot, but I know, the Vonu, for me, the Vonu mentality, is taking responsibility for your own security, your own capability, your own dependence to some degree, independence. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of lead with that to say, Vonu is real. We're building the second realm, and I can just speak, from my own experience that Rayo's out here changing people's lives, and I really appreciate you, brother.
Hey man, well, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate the words and all, but yeah, doesn't mean anything without folks like you, without folks like Shadrach. If it were just me, then it would be some weird singular cult, or I don't know what you'd call it, but something weird. But with a bunch of fine folks around me, it turns into something a lot bigger and better, and not just some weird thing. Wouldn't be here without any of y'all. So I guess so Vonu spoke to you philosophically, and obviously with Vonu, if it speaks to you philosophically, it impacts your action, what you do. And I guess I'm not going to disclose much. I'll just kind of leave it open and question. You've experimented with nomadism, different shelters. You've got some experience with electrical stuff. Like, can you share some practical knowledge that you've learned, kind of from that Vonu perspective?
Yeah. I mean, we all kind of have our own paths that we're capable of. We kind of got to, we've been kind of dumbed down. Comparing ourselves to Ray, I've been thinking about this. If we could contrast our own capabilities with somebody from his time frame, I just anticipate there's this whole, a very different capability that Rayo's generation had, and maybe different problems too. And so I guess I'm kind of starting at the end to go back to the beginning a little bit, but it's kind of been interesting to see how Vonu changes over time, because having attempted to be comfortable in a polyethylene tent, It's different for me than it was for Rayo, because I'm trying to run electricity to run a computer, to whereas as far as I recall, he only had a non-electrical typewriter.
Yeah, there was no electronics.
Right.
Definitely no electronics. Yeah.
Yep. So the times change, and the pathways to Vonu change, and so that's kind of where I'm at now, is kind of realizing some of that change, but on the on the way here, starting with kind of a nomadism with a home base. Gaining, first of all, gaining a reputation, having the luck and a fate of crossing paths with other Vonuans and PAZNIAns. So starting there, and then what was really helpful for me was learning how to take care of my vehicle, from the repairs that you can accomplish with tools that you can have in a kit. And also not upgrading to the modern vehicle, that's just much more challenging to maintain and repair. But that's one of those things, those changes I'm realizing, is that these older vehicles are going to be phased out. Who knows how soon gas might be phased out. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of things changing, and I guess I'm lucky to be in this time, or I guess I'm grateful to at least be able to maintain my own vehicle to the degree that I am, because I'm able to recognize a huge cost saving, and also a huge security and confidence when I'm out there on the road. So I guess I would say that is one huge thing, is don't be afraid to get under your hood, to get under your vehicle, and start learning, I guess I haven't been able to maintain a full nomadic lifestyle throughout the year. So how it's kind of worked out is I've been able to make the winters comfortable in a polyethylene tent. I found that it's much easier to, well, not maybe much easier, but in the circumstances I'm in, it's more affordable, more possible to heat the tent in the winter than it is to cool the tent in the summer. And like I said, trying to run electronics and stuff like that, and there can be a trade-off between putting a tent in shade under trees and where you have the exposure to the sun. Right. So if you have the sun exposure, you got a little more opportunity to draw solar, and then once if you have a tent under trees, you kind of have a little bit of a vulnerability to the trees themselves, and especially with some of the hard wind that can be endured in different places.
Oh yeah, especially here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I guess no. I guess the only thing I would jump in to add here, which I think is highly valuable, is that like I've got a lot of like technical knowledge and things, but I don't have that much practical knowledge until the past couple of years, like practical skills and things. And I think that's kind of the difference between, in large part, difference between like Rayo, like he was an engineer, practical engineer, like he can engineer. He could pretty much engineer anything, and he was allegedly looking into alternative like hydroelectric solutions. That Jim Stum hypothesized that it was him that wrote into this publication from details. So a little speculation there, but Rayo was going beyond into different energy sources, and I think that like that practical knowledge is so valuable. And so there's we talked about it earlier with the typewriters and the college professor mandating his students use typewriters so they can't use AI to write their papers for him and such. It's kind of instructive in this way too, that like I can look up anything on the internet and like most anything and figure out how to fix it, or like if it's something like a programming box, I can look it up and figure out the things to program it. But there's nothing more nothing better than that on the ground analog experience, hands-on experience. So I think that's valuable it's one thing that came to mind from what she said.
Oh, indeed. And I guess if I could just throw out a practical tip as far as how to go about learning and having a confidence in learning to maintain your vehicle and repair your vehicle. is you don't have to be a mechanic, especially when you can at least focus on the stuff that it tells you what's wrong. So, the mafia government has mandated that all the vehicles produced since 1990X, whatever it was, all come with this OBD2 port, and through this OBD2 port, they can diagnose, different sensors and whatnot. Now, this doesn't solve everything, but if you have something that can read these codes, so you don't have to have a dependent on somebody else to read them for you. And then from there you can hopefully try to attempt to repair those based on searches or whatever. But contrast that with things that you need an eyeball to see that there's a problem, or you need a noise or something slowing you down or whatever it is. Right. Yeah. At least you can start out, or at least that's how I've started off, is by, okay, if the computer's telling me it's broken, I can fix it. Like, I can go about fixing it. But knowing what's necessarily becoming a problem, that's a skill that I guess takes me must take more time to develop.
Yeah, I think well, I guess so there was a little semblance of tree. Well, I guess we had in my shop class we had maybe a technical tech college, someone come in and try, and I guess it was a good explanation that, like, there's between a mechanic and a technician, whereas a mechanic can fix what's going on, a technician can tell you, like, what and why, like the actual details. Yeah, very much in line with it, with the trivia methods, yes, I know you're familiar with. So yeah, like it's regardless of whether we're talking about we're learning how to fix a car, or reprogramming an Intel management engine chip or something like that. It's very much just, if you're gonna do it, it just takes doing it. And learning. And maybe maybe in certain circumstances, like Start 9 Dave, I'm actually not that necessarily against. Sometimes we humans need some structure. And I think he's going to a community college to learn deep math or something like that. Whereas it would be, for me, I've had that inclination myself too. Like, I want to learn how to actually do math. I'll find a free online course. It never happens. Never happens. It probably never will. So anyway, I guess that's just what I'll toss out there. Don't know if you got anything in response to that.
Oh, well, I guess going back to the practicality. When you're saying that you want to pursue the math and it never happens, when it becomes practical to go deeper, I think that's when you'll make it happen. And it sounds like that's what Dave has done in a pretty notable way. And props to Dave. Shout out to Dave. Hopefully he can solve the maths.
Yeah. No, I've never been good at the maths. Never. I always joke. I went to government schools. So I can't do math. Can't do the maths. Can't do the myths. Both good. I guess both good things are probably good to not be able to do. But anyways, yeah, it's been about don't want to keep it too long. But I guess any other tips or tricks, or if someone's listening and you're you're on the other end of this conversation, and there's one burning thing that you had to pass on that would greatly expedite your time, off the cuff, what would it be?
Well, I guess if I could just say one thing, I'm actually saying this to myself. Anybody else, sharing similar paths with me? When you're trying to build the second realm and trying to go Vonu, you're making some sacrifices that can be mentally taxing in some ways, and it can be helpful to not fail to give yourself credit for the challenges and those sacrifices that we are making. Because sometimes it can be, it can lead to, some doubtful things, because trading comfort for Vonu is, I guess that's one of the things I'm kind of pointing at. Going back into the wild and undomesticating ourselves, there's some mental parts to it. And I just want to say that, don't lose sight of those, accomplishments, and also the sacrifices, trying to fight the good fight, trying to take responsibility for my own life, and speaking for myself.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give so Shadrach, this will be a one-sided, because he can't, with the current setup, he can't necessarily hear you. But do you have a short question I can relay? I'm a translator. You got any questions or comments I can relay across?
I think what's the most significant thing that got him to see this kind of way of life? Like, what was the turning point, and how can we like change more hearts and minds?
Okay, I just got the headphones. I can hear you now. Can you? Something about changing hearts and minds. Well, I guess I kind of only caught the end of that question, but I'll respond to it with Polish. Malpa robi, malpa widzi. And it's actually monkey do, monkey see. I say it backwards to remind us that it's the doing that the other monkeys see. And so once we start doing, and the other monkeys see it, monkey see, monkey do. Right. So
Love it. Great answer.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. I appreciate the the temporary audience, and the good vibes, and I'm very thankful for the show. Thanks for having me.
All right, and I'm glad the headphones back. Doesn't matter because I'm just talking. But yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on and sharing. We always appreciate that, and especially from people that are doing. That's what Vonu's all about. Hearing from folks that are doing it and can share things that aren't from. Oh, God, his mic. That aren't from theory and are from actual practice. So always valuable, always appreciated. So that was our Freedom Pioneer Focus, Freedom Music Spotlight. Again, Richard Dick Reeser from the Bitcoin Bugle, Stardust, RAP, and our guest, Bastard Chris. So that leads us into our Vonu Life digital message board, which I should have a clip for this. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, maybe we'll just forego it unless I can find it quickly. Yeah, we'll just forego it. There's a cool clip that I had prepared for the Vonu Life digital message board segment, but you're going to hear some stuff. So anyway, yeah, this is a segment where we cover messages from you, the listener. Again, PAZNIA.com/call2 if you would like to give us a call. But regardless, we've got a few messages to respond to at least. And a message from General Willie 2, who's actually in Lebanon right now. Go General Willie 2, he's in Lebanon. Good, it's good he's over there now. Just put it that way. So let's see here. There was one message to me by this Fog Duel. You could sell external SSDs with an OS as boot stick. I mean, like USB adapter case with an SSD inside. Tails or something. Maybe even deliver a custom PAZNIA OS to pre-install applications. Yes, that's an amazing idea. I used to offer Linux Tails. Oh shit, lost the microphone. I used to offer bootable, the USB Tails drives on the LUA site, but yeah, stopped offering those. But yeah, when it gets to a part that's more expansive, like where if we can send you an SSD and have like the PAZNIA library duplicated on there by default, or like the PeerTube instance or something like that. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. That's a great idea. Yeah, 100% on board with that. He also asked Shadrach, and I guess the open question: are you a pirate? Is what Fucktool asks.
That's a funny question. I think somebody raised while we were on Madeira about how the pirates oftentimes worked for the state, and they were just kind of an arm of the things that the government couldn't do publicly. They would get pirates to do a lot of that. So I'm going to stick with Pioneer.
Yeah, no, I had a similar question. It was just like a couple years ago, like a Vonu Fest event. But we make really high quality rum at the distillery, so I enjoy rum, and I make Joyce. I made a joke around the campfire that I was a pirate, and obviously the highly autistic. Like, is that really a good thing? And I was like, well, no, not really. No, not really. No. It's a joke. Kind of. I explained the same thing you did. But then I also went as far as to go even more autistic and mention argumentation ethics and how it would be morally justifiable to do it, but I wouldn't do it because just personal things. So yeah. Can't blame people for being too autistic when I go further. Anyway, let's see. All right, someone commented on the Star Wars video. That was the Richard Bugle. But we've got a couple other pieces of at least I have. I don't know if you've got any messages, but I wanted to take a moment here This is played on advertisements, but I think this is an important message from the digital message board. General Willie too, he's in Lebanon dealing with a bunch of this fallout from this bullshit happening right now. So I want to give General Willie to the floor for a few minutes to we just need to hear from Willie too. I guess I'll just put it that way.
Transmission source: PAZNIA Radio Network. Frequency: 99.9. Freedom. Date: April 8, 2026. To President Dolan J. Trump, USSA. From General Willie II, Supreme Commander of the Free Republic of PAZNIA. Subject: your new residence and a suggestion to stop posting on Truth Social.
Greetings, citizens of the USSA, and a special direct message to Dolan J. Trump, the man who thought he could rule the world with a golden pen and a broken phone. I am speaking to you today not as a goat, but as a liberator. I am speaking to you via the PAZNIA Radio Network, the only station in the world that doesn't play ads for tax loopholes or cheap off-grid solar kits made in China. Dolan, listen closely. The time for Make the USSA Great Again is over. The time for Make the USSA Quiet Again has begun. I have reviewed your recent activity. I have seen the photos. I have heard the rants. I have seen the way you hold your phone like it's a holy relic, posting on Truth Social while the world burns around you. Put the phone down, Dolan. Put it down. Your fingers are getting cramped. Your brain is getting fried. And quite frankly, your orange hairline is looking a little receding. It is time to put on the white jacket. Yes, the white jacket. The one with the little pockets for your pills and your napkins. It's the uniform of the wise, the calm, and the people who finally understand that the world doesn't need a dictator. It needs a nap. So, Dolan, pack your bags. Not your golf clubs, not your gold statues, but your dignity. Because you are heading to your new home. Your new residence is the St. Jude Sanctuary for the peaceful and the peaceful-minded. It's a beautiful place, Dolan. Very quiet, very soft, very jello. Imagine it, Dolan. No more rallies. No more screaming at the mirror. It's a warm, wobbly bowl of strawberry jello every morning. And in the afternoon, you get to watch Fox News on a loop. But here's the catch. Dolan, you can't talk about it. You can't tweet about it. You can't post about it. You just get to watch and eat and nap. It's the life you always wanted, Dolan. A life of passive consumption. No more fighting. No winning. Just you, a bowl of jello, and the endless loop of breaking news that never breaks anything. We have prepared a special transport for you. It's a comfortable padded van with soundproofing. The ride will be smooth. The ghosts will be driving. They are very good drivers. They know how to avoid potholes. So, Dolan, get your white jacket ready, pack your jello, and get ready for the great transition. The PAZNIA Radio Network will be broadcasting your new theme song all day long. It's called Orange Jello Jive. Remember, Dolan, freedom is not about controlling the world. It's about letting go. And the best way to let go is to sit in a white room, eat some jello, and watch the news until the credits roll. Signed, General Willie II, Supreme Commander, Free Republic of P.A.Z.NIA, the Quarter Goat, the Liberator, the Jello King.
All right, and there we have it. General Willie II reporting from Lebanon. He's dealing with a lot of this shit firsthand. A lot of this fallout. But General Willie II was happy to do it. He'd have it no other way. So, thank you, General Willie II, for your service. Sorry we had to kill all your lambs. Or not kill them. We didn't kill them. We just shipped them off. But yeah. I guess the only other pertinent news point here. Well, I guess it's not even really pertinent. I'll leave it up to you. You got any well, it's not even news. Digital message board. You got any messages you want to share, Shadrach?
I think
turn your volume up.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. You're good.
Good. Yeah, about what Chris was saying. I think it's good to know, like, have the basic skills that we need to, like, survive on our own, but then I do believe in specialization and having experts on things, and also being able to kind of, rally the crew together to do big projects. And so I love the nomad thing. And it's definitely good to be able to work on your vehicles, but I want to have people that I know that I can trust that can help me. And I think there's a lot of we can have good manuals, like field manuals, like things, basic information you need to know, like when you're stuck, but then also how to get in touch and stay in touch with people who can help.
No, there's definitely a fine balance between specialization and actually doing it yourself and all that. There was one other actually news point. Wow, or digital message points. It's kind of off topic, but it's kind of funny. I think it's just up. No, was this up? No, you were the one actually shared the. You were the one that shared the Wikipedia. It's hard to tell in Simplex. So you are familiar with the history of the name Shadrach, then. But maybe I'll, if I could just take like 30 seconds here, and for the listeners, it's good. It's good. So this is just the Wikipedia, but yeah, I mean, it checks out. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So I'll just go to the summary real quick. It's just a paragraph. So the name Shadrach, King Nebuchadnezzar set up a golden image in the plain of Dura and commanded that all his officials bow before it. All who failed to do so would be thrown into a furnace. Certain officials informed the king that the 3 Jewish youths, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, who bore the Babylonian names Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and whom the king had appointed to high office in Babylon, were refusing to worship the golden statue. The 3 were brought before Nebuchadnezzar, where they informed the king that God would be with them. Nebuchadnezzar commanded they be thrown into the fiery furnace, heated 7 times hotter than normal, but when the king looked, he saw 4 figures walking unharmed in the flames, the 4th like a son of God. Seeing this, Nebuchadnezzar brought the youths out of the flames, and the fire had not any effect on their bodies. The hair of their heads was not singed, their clothes were not harmed, and no smell of fire was on them. The king then promoted them to high office, decreeing that anyone who spoke against God should be torn limb from limb. So Shadrach, in one of your previous lines, that's kind of heretical, but I guess, and one of your, I guess maybe your namesake, you refuse to worship false idols.
Absolutely, I refuse to bow down.
There you go. So I guess that's the moral of that story, and I don't think it's actually it's accurate. I like it. It's one of those few times where namesake is actually kind of on point. But we are coming up to our 2-hour mark, and I guess I don't really have too much else. Don't need to extend it further than it needs to go. I guess the next question for you then is the next monthly news show. It's either 3rd or 4th Sunday. May 30th, good for you?
Oh shit! Yeah. I'll have to look.
10-4.
We'll let our anxious viewers know soon.
Yep, 3rd or 4th Saturday. Yep, 3rd or 4th Saturday. We'll figure it out. I guess the only other noteworthy note here is that Matt Hill, the CEO of Start 9, will be on Cloak and Dagger May 9th, and that'll be a really great discussion. I listened to an interview. I'm trying to remember who it was. One of the big Bitcoiners, but he went deep into AI and kind of the Claude aspect of it, and why local AI is so important.
Yeah. No, he's been doing some great podcasts lately.
No, like I listened to that one. I was like, yeah, this dude needs to be on. He needs to talk to Thane. I'd love to talk to him, but I'm not. Thane could have a more intelligent conversation. That's why it's great to have Thane Cloak and Dagger around. Is I can just secure shows that I would want to do myself, and there'd be more smarter conversations on his. So it's good for everybody. So I guess that's the couple of noteworthy notes. Before we close out, we covered a lot this evening. Any closing thoughts? Any loops we didn't close out in this conversation?
No, it was great. I'm really enjoying this. I'm sure we'll prepare better next time.
We probably won't.
We probably won't. Yeah, I like the way Thane puts it. So
we'll come out with what needs to come out. I guess the last couple things I'll mention. During Thane's show, I was tossing up PAZcraft on the screen, which I'll do for our younger listeners because they need their short attention spans. They need something different on the screen. So maybe I'll just scroll, fly through the PAZcraft map during the stream sometime, which I did tonight. But no, it's some cool shit. Check it out. PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft. It's our self-hosted Minecraft server, which I think he's doing on decentralized VPS. I don't know all the details. I mean, Avalon is he took this up and he went way further with it than I ever imagined. Lots of good stuff in there. PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft. And if you want to help support the PAZNIA Radio Network, you can get our XMR Chat digital book bundle or the XMR Chat Sounds of Self-Liberation audiobook bundle. Just go to xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio, and you can find the various tiers there. I think it's $20 for the book bundle and $30 for the audiobook bundle. But great offers there. You support the network, support me, support Thane, and we keep this shit going. We keep it expanding. Keep tossing money back into it and watching it grow. Otherwise, I guess that's pretty much it. BountyPodcast.com, LibertyAttack.com, and unless you got anything else, Shadrach, I'll turn it over to the post programming, and we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for tuning in.
No, let's do it. Thanks, everyone.
All right, cheers.
Good night.
Have a good rest of your evening, guys. Later.
You're listening to the PAZNIA Radio Network.
Hello friends, fellow self-liberators. DJ Brian FreeRobot here with a message from the PAZNIA Department of Freedom. Did you know, PAZNIA is much more than just the greatest radio network in existence. Founded in 2020, the Free Republic of PAZNIA is a burgeoning, worldwide parallel network founded upon the principles of truth, freedom, and voluntarism. We're building out a network, and subsequent map and directory, of homesteads and farms, van nomad squat spots, guerrilla gardening plots, local health food stores, potential opportunities for alternative home bases, and much more, anything else that would be useful and necessary for a self-liberator. Beyond that, we have various departments, such as our Department of Transportation and Department of Communications. Each department is pursuing its own goals, in this case, a decentralized logistics and supply network, and mesh networking as examples, respectively. We'll build out some public features, but PAZNIA is at its core a vetted network. And the first step is to become an honorary stakeholder. Features include discounts to other businesses/hustles in the Agora, access to the Second Realm network of non-coercers, a PAZNIA ID card, PAZNIA stickers and pens, a digital self-liberation bundle via Liberty Under Attack publications, a PAZNIA flag, and a shirt and a coffee mug or a hat. The full stakeholder donation is $333, but there are various tiers, $3, $55, and $99 if the budget is understandably tight. Your donation will go towards the expansion of the PAZNIA network and is a way for us to only get folks who will put their money where their mouths are per se. And you get some great advantages in return. To become an honorary stakeholder, visit PAZNIA.com/stake. Again, PAZNIA.com/stake. Bitcoin, Monero, and fiat accepted. Thanks so much for tuning into the PAZNIA Radio Network. Let's get back to the deprogramming. DJ Brian FreeRobot out. In this day and age, any facilitation or interaction with the First Realm, the Servile Society, requires the revealing of some sort of personally identifiable information. Whether renting a place, buying a house, or buying cigarettes, one is faced with the burden of taxes, regulatory burdens, and in the case of the latter, a doxing of themselves to any random corporate employee that asks. Though, it's awfully hard or nearly impossible to get by without any sort of interaction. In Vonu terminology, Rayo describes this as a one-directional isolationism, wherein the self-liberator has access to their open but not free trading centers, but denies them access to his home base or bases. More expansively, a solution is found in Second Realm, book on strategy with the proxy merchant. The proxy merchant is a specialized individual who helps to facilitate said interactions with the coercers and haters of privacy, usually at a fee or premium. A proxy merchant may help with cryptocurrency trading, i.e. fiat to Monero, Monero to Bitcoin, or whatever, giving a self-liberator a private, more trusted solution versus using a third-party exchange. They might be in real estate and own apartment complexes, renting home bases out to self-liberators in Monero, off the books, and via a pseudonym. This real estate mogul might operate mail forwarding and residency services. Perhaps, this proxy merchant is also in contact with Thane Riddle's insurrectionary agorists, and they somehow got into possession of a pallet of non-KYC cigarettes. Now, they are able to pass on the benefits to those in the Second Realm, without paying the ridiculous extortion fees on such products. 20+ years back, every American committed at least 3 felonies a day. Today, it's surely far higher. The options for assisting freedom pioneers becomes ever expansive as each day passes by. Support the expansion of the Second Realm, the parallel, but still, circular economy, and keep our hard-earned money away from the baby bombers and coercers. Become a proxy merchant today. But this role isn't necessarily for everyone. It requires someone with a mind towards privacy, someone who exemplifies security culture principles, a self-liberator who thrives off exploiting loopholes and finding the glitches in this coercive matrix. If this sounds like you and you'd like to make a bit of coin, digital or otherwise, become a proxy merchant today. There's no website. Just start doing it. Tell the PAZNIA network about it. And profit.
Hello friends, fellow self-liberators. Dr. Gatherer here coming to you with a health and wellness message. The Pain Liberator, Miracle Muscle Pain Reliever, is now back in stock at libertyunderattack.com. For your basic aches and pains, to more extensive injuries, and even pains like headaches or migraines, the Pain Liberator is here to liberate you from discomfort. The Pain Liberator is a 20% DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, /80% colloidal silver water base, blended with enough aspirin to provide 30 milligrams of aspirin per spray. Beyond just pain relief, all 3 of these main ingredients provide enormous benefit to the body in general. DMSO also helps to bring the aspirin and colloidal silver into the skin for maximum bioavailability. Individual benefits include: colloidal silver is antibacterial, antifungal, used for sore throats, sinus problems, tooth infections, and candida overgrowths. DMSO has over 40 known pharmacological properties, helps with acne, heals shingles, is radio/EMF protective, painkiller, and heals stroke and heart attack damage. Aspirin is one of the safest, cheapest miracle drugs in existence. Searching PubMed, it assists with basically every disease or imbalance, from muscle pain to reversing cancerous tumors and everything in between. Spray directly on head for headaches. The Pain Liberator is available via Liberty Under Attack publications. Just visit libertyunderattack.com/pain to place your order today. PayPal, Bitcoin, and Monero accepted. For Monero, email Shane at libertyunderattack.com. The Pain Liberator, Miracle Muscle Pain Reliever, a PAZNIA Department of Health and Wellness creation. libertyunderattack.com/pain.
Are you an alpha male looking to engage in consensual violence in a totally non-homosexual way? Do you also have nostalgia over the glory days when NFL players would get drunk, smoke cigarettes, and do drugs in the locker room before the complete takeover by gambling? And before all the lame-ass flag-waving shit? You aren't the only one. The PAZNIA Football League is prepping for kickoff in year 7 2027. The beginning preliminary planning stage is launching alongside this announcement. Each node, aka team, will field 7 badasses ready to lay their bodies on the line for the entertainment of PAZNIans, and of course, to prove just how fucking tough they are. If any node is unable to field an entire squad, we have goats that can serve as fill-ins. But please note, PAZNIA is not responsible for any injuries that may be incurred. Single men, bachelors. What better way is there to possibly find you a freedom-pioneering woman? What better way to demonstrate that you are the one she should head into the fallout bunker with? That you won't just $5 wrench attack her for her Bitcoin. There really aren't any. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to PAZNIA.com/football, fill out the application, sign the waivers, and get ready for a hell of a season come 2027. Again, PAZNIA.com/football. Sponsored by Pain Liberator, Miracle Muscle Pain Relief Spray, the official wellness product of the PAZNIA Football League.
Liberty Under Attack Publications was launched in 2018 with a focus on bringing the best freedom-focused books and fiction into fruition, all on the same catalog. The number of books is well over 30 now, but since then we've expanded beyond assisting freedom pioneers in sharing their story or educating themselves. Now we help self-liberators find their freedom. Also on offer via Liberty Under Attack Publications are privacy tools, that is, privacy-enhanced laptops and phones, wellness items like the Pain Liberator, and occasionally special items like homemade organic canned goods, or as apothecary, and more. The website is libertyunderattack.com. Again, libertyunderattack.com. And as a thanks for your time, take 10% off your first order of books using coupon code SELFLIBERATE. Again, libertyunderattack.com. Coupon code SELFLIBERATE. Liberty Under Attack Publications. Share your story. Find your freedom.
Good day, fellow self-liberators. Daisy Free Robot here with some critically important links. First off, PAZNIA.com/books2. This link will take you to a page with free PDF downloads to books, zines, and other publications in the realms of self-liberation and Vonu. Save some copies yourself, throw them on the dark net, burn them to flash drives, store them on blockchains, throw them in buried 55-gallon drums, or whatever. Make sure they never disappear. Again, PAZNIA.com/books2. Second, PAZNIA.com/simplex. Here, you can find links to the numerous and growing selection of simplex PAZNIA chats, ranging from the General Committee of Correspondence, our Department of Technology, the PAZNIA Radio Network, all the way to PAZcraft, the chat group for our own self-hosted, open-source mine test server. That is PAZNIA.com/simplex. And finally, with mention of PAZcraft, there is also our own server that you connect to. For more information and connection details, visit PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft. Again, PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft. Thanks for being here. Now, back to the transmission.
Rayo was right. Freedom does indeed need more full-time professionals, not collective movement preachers seeking a coterie of followers, but explorers, inventors, developers of liberated life ways. Undoubtedly, numerous folks are truly seeking a way out of the servile society, but they don't see any options outside of political crusading or apathy. Many are being emotionally and physically broken down by the 9-to-5 grind, the daily pressures of the servile society, and the recognition of how truly unfree they really are. That being the case, our task as Vonuans now becomes self-liberation and marketing in that order. Reason being, if we are ever going to see an alternative economy, sovereign free port, a new libertarian country, or whatever other grandiose strategy comes into fruition, we need to first break people free from the servile society and into a lifestyle change of their choosing. Additionally, if we are ever going to see the abolition of the state, we must do our damnedest to eliminate the market demand for it. A great way to do that is by showing individuals that there are other options, and to help them in the process as much as possible. Some entrepreneurs may even be able to monetize such a venture in the form of consulting, or the development of tools or services to ease the transition from the first realm to the second realm. Rayo's first book, Vonu, The Search for Personal Freedom, was initially published in 1983. 35 plus years later, many of these strategies are just as practical now as they were then, if not more so thanks to the evolution of technology. Yet, some recommendations he and others posited are extremely outdated, destined to fail in the modern day. Vonu is based upon reality, not legality, and therefore, it will develop according to the external factors of the present time. Freedom is not free. It takes time, effort, money, an extreme amount of dedication, and a willingness to make sacrifices. It requires the willingness and ability to create, develop, and to problem solve, as we are the self-liberators of the 21st century, pioneering the path forward to a freer future. It is not for everybody, and neither is Vonu. There's no better way to end this book than with these wise, timeless words from our friend and posthumous mentor, Rayo. Quote, "A Vonuan to me is not just someone living in a particular manner. Lifestyles may change. A lifestyle which was Vonu 100 years ago may not be Vonu today. Some lifestyles Vonu today were not possible 100 years ago and may not be Vonu 50 years from now. A Vonuan is someone who places a high value on relative invulnerability to coercion, someone for whom freedom is worth a fair amount, though not infinite, of effort, inconvenience, discomfort. To a Vonuan, Vonu is not just a means to other ends, nor is it an ultimate end. Like most qualities of life and life itself, it is both. A Vonuan will choose whatever way of living offers personal sovereignty, and will change lifestyle again and again, if necessary." End quote. Your free future is closer than you think. This was an excerpt from my book, Vonu, A Strategy for Self-Liberation, available in the Self-Liberation Bundle. Just visit libertyunderattack.com/SL Bundle to snag every book we offer at a huge discount. Currently 18 books. Again, libertyunderattack.com/SL Bundle is where to go to pick that up. And to view our full catalog, please visit libertyunderattack.com. LUA Publications. Share your story. Find your freedom.
This is the basic law of life, and dear listeners, it is spiritual in its nature. If man failed to do everything in his power to protect his life, as a result of such neglect lost his life, then the destiny for which the soul came to earth would end there. Without life, a body or medium to function through spiritual attainment would be impossible, ladies and gentlemen. Spirituality would then be forfeited. You see, if man's life was threatened without cause on his part, and he failed to do everything in his power to prevent death, he would then be guilty of 3 actual crimes. He would first of all permit the enemy to commit murder. Next, he would be committing suicide by failing to protect the most precious possession given to man by his Creator. And worst of all, he would end whatever his destiny might be, the purpose for which body, mind, and life had been given to him. And I believe it's to learn something. In one respect, man is forced to be a warring, not a murdering creature. And I might inject here that the 10 Commandments does not say, in its original form, thou shalt not kill. It says, ladies and gentlemen, and you can check this, if you wish, go to the original Hebrew and Greek, it says, thou shalt not murder. So in one respect, man is forced to be a warring, not a murdering creature. From his birth, the law of self-preservation forces him to be on guard against every inimical force attempting to destroy him by one means or another. He must be on the alert to prevent man, natural forces, or his own carnal desires to betray him into acts of degradation. Man is a warring creature. But his war, I tell you, his war is an honorable one. It is one of protection. First himself, so that he may protect those he is responsible for, but in doing so must not take unfair advantage of others, nor be guilty of unrighteousness. The nature of this was and is actually spiritual. It is the battle of righteousness against evil. It is a war biblically spoken of as taking place in heaven because it is waged within man's spiritual nature. He fights to fulfill destiny and to finally create heaven on earth for himself and others who follow. By the war of righteousness, wherein there is no selfishness, he attains the consciousness which makes him a man, knowing both good and evil, having chosen good to attain the promised sonship. Notice, you must choose. You must choose. Each and every one of you listening to this broadcast tonight must choose, and you must choose very quickly. You might ask, is there actually a need for some form of evil in the life of man? Was this, together with some form of fear, ordained in the beginning? And I say nothing has been ordained, but if the divine law is to be fulfilled in the life of man, then it is certainly necessary that he, according to sacred concepts, become a crusader in God's cause, and not exist as a negative, effortless, uncreative, unproductive creature, a leaf-shaped parasite upon the rest. The first command is that he must become a man in the true sense of the term, and this implies that he must prepare himself to meet the enemy that is ever alert to destroy the best that he has created. He must meet evil as the soldier meets the enemy. Doing this in the righteousness of his conscience neutralizes fear. Many of you call and ask me, Bill, aren't you afraid? My answer has always been and always will be no. No, no, and no. For I know from where I have come, and I know where I am going. I know who I am, and I know that I possess a soul. I fear the actions of no man. I fear the judgment of no man. I fear only the judgment of my God. And I know that if I am doing what is right, I need not ever fear that judgment. And therefore, I am not afraid.
You've just heard a transmission of the PAZNIA radio network, the entertainment and propaganda arm of the Free Republic of P.A.Z.NIA, a public service of the PAZNIA Free Press. Long live the Second Realm.